All right, sitting on my back porch out here, just chilling out. The weather's not too bad, not too bad. But I want to practice here. Let me go. Let's see what we got here. So, responding to some comments. This comment right here. I agree with you, Gordon, on playing with level 1 balls and keeping the power 3s and up for specific holes in tournaments. Although playing with them with an EM 6-7 on Tour 7, even Tour 6 is tough to win when your opponents have an EM 9 and they pull out a Titan. So that happens. And I can remember, like, when I first started playing, it seemed like it took forever to get my clubs up, like, because especially with the rares, like level 8 was the max, and then they, after the club card trading, they raised it up. One of the things that can help you out when you're playing those tours, especially when you're playing down in like 6-7, 5-6-7 down there, is if you're in a clan that has multiple bags, having a bag that's got, you know, like in my bag set, I've got, even if you're just in a clan that only has 3 bags, and if you're looking for a clan, Kings of Golf, you can look us up. We're open enrollment. You can join our clan. I've got a power bag that's got an extra mile in it, and then I've got an accurate bag. Normally, this has got a rock and I played with a quarterback for years, and a quarterback is excellent. And then my third bag has always got a big topper and a big dog, or if you got a cataclysm, you can use cataclysm. But having just those 3 bags, you've got a power bag, you've got a utility bag, because there's a lot of stuff that you can get done with a big topper, and a lot of the holes that the big topper really comes in handy on, you really do need a big dog or a cataclysm for your second. And having an accurate bag, there'll be a lot of those holes that you can play with your quarterback bag, because you don't need the distance, you know, and you can get out there. But having the bags that you can switch up so that you can be real, you can get on some holes and you're looking at it and you're like, man, I'm just not going to be able to get this done with this wind without banging out a power 3. And if you're playing up to like Tour 7, Tour 8, and you're really trying to work on it, and your clubs aren't fully developed, especially your rares like your extra mile, you can be strategic on those holes and bring out a Katana, or bring out a Quasar, or bring out that Titan. You know, pop that Titan out on that hole to help you out. And then, but the thing is be willing to switch back on the next hole, and because like I said in the videos, these people pick a special ball and then they play until they run out of them. And it's like, you guys aren't even looking, that's not even the proper ball to bring on this hole. We don't need a power 5 ball on this hole, but you just already got it picked. But being a little bit more strategic, having your bag set up so that you have an accurate bag and a distance bag and a utility bag can help you out as well, especially if you're using lower power balls. But the one that I wanted to do, the one I'm doing, and thanks for that comment. All of you that leave comments, thank you for leaving comments. And minus 14, I think in this tournament is good. I'm really shooting for the minus 15. I think if you can shoot better than a 28, so like if you're 29, or obviously if you're 30, then you're putting yourself in the, we need to pick up one more off that minus 14. Ideally, you want to pick it up on a side, so you got a 15 on each side, but even coming in with a minus 29, I think is going to put you way up at the top. It might not win, but it depends on the bracket. A minus 28 with good tiebreakers might win. There are some opportunities to pick some shots up. I don't see a lot of opportunities on the par 3s, but the par 4s and the par 5s, we do have lots of opportunities. And I shot this video today because I want to talk about the par 3s. One of my viewers, Alan, says, okay, on hole number 8, try minus 10 max club with the rocket, with a Katana, full backspin, minus one backspin. So full backspin, minus 1. And put your ball guide 1.5 to 2 squares short of the pin. Okay, let's try it. Let's see if that works, because I really do think that the rocket on hole number 8 is you can do it. There are several other drivers if you've got, you know, upper developed stuff that they got backspin, but a rocket being the first driver we're ever going to get, it's the easiest one, and it's pretty easy to max out your commons. It doesn't take a lot of time to get your commons maxed out, and having an upper developed rocket so that you can do it. So let's try that. Let's try it. Am I still in? Let's get a ball. We got a Katana. So I got my calculator set up and I got -9 times the wind divided by 1.3 at max club. Here we go. Here we go. And let's check the 1.3. Let's make sure if you're using the app, it might give you something different. So let's make sure with the driver, with the rocket, maxed out, max club, power 2 ball, 1.3 per ring. And it's 1.3 all the way through. You can look at sometimes like if you use this method for figuring out your wind ring, sometimes it'll be 1.3 at max, and then up here it'll say 2.7. So, and then it'll continue on that range. So what it's basically saying, if the wind is higher than 2.6, then you need to do 1.3 plus 0.1. So you can watch those. It's doing the fractional math for you. Some of you might understand that. Hopefully all of you understand that. Let's practice. Let's practice. Hole number 8. Hole number 8. Hole number 8. Here we go. Here we go. Let's practice. Let's try it. Because I was trying on hole number 8. It seemed like the very first time I came out here, I did it straight up and I didn't pull it enough, and then I added wind on, and then it seemed like I didn't pull it enough, and then I added more wind on, and then it was like I way over pulled it, and I have no idea. So we'll try the minus 10. You have to understand that these percentages have nothing to do. I don't care what anybody says. They have nothing to do with elevation because they're not consistent. It's some dweeb that works for Playdemic has gone on max backspin -1, 1.5. Okay, so there's 1. There's 2 squares short of the cup. Let's try 2. It's going to roll out. .3, 2.97 rings. Let's get lined up with the wind. 2.97. Exactly. Hitting it perfect. Let's see what happens there. Let's see. Now, based on that, I didn't pull it enough. I did not pull it enough. We'll try it again. And where I'm at is a +20. We'll see if +20 works. We'll try several different numbers. The reason that the there may be an elevation deal where if you're hitting down the hill, your ball is going to travel farther, so you have to make an adjustment. If you're hitting uphill, your ball's not going to travel as far, so you have to make a minus adjustment. That's the way it's supposed to work, right? But it's not consistent. We can have one shot that's right here and we do a +20, and then we can have another hole where it's the same exact and we do +15, or we do +10, or we do 0. It's not consistent. And the reason it's not consistent is because somebody who works at Playdemic has come up with some variables. And they plugged in a variable and they've said at 0 wind, if the wind was 0 miles an hour and you hit it perfect, you would be off the cup. So you'd have to do a +0.1 in order to get into the cup. That equates out to 10%. But maybe this number is 1.25. So now we're at a 12.5%. Okay? 12.5%. And so they've come up with some variable. So they can go in there so that they don't have to redesign the game if they want to change stuff. They can go in there and they can change that variable. And how that variable works as far as if they've got this and you're hitting from here, if you're hitting from here, this is going to be a different adjustment than here, and it's some variable that's in the game. And it's a variable at 0 wind. So if there was no wind at all, we just went out and played, there was 0 wind, and we hit it perfect, it wouldn't go in the hole because of this variable that they put in here. And so that elevation thing is all BS. So you can look at this hole, it looks like it's way downhill and that we should be doing something, but there's no guarantee that that's the way it's actually going to work. Let's try that again. Let's try it again, but this time we'll add wind on and we'll see where we're at. And let's hit it perfect. The deal is, here's the thing about it is, you can go out there and hit a shot and you're making it and you're hammering it and it's going in, and then I can try that same shot and it's just not working. I have no... And that's part of the deal. That's why you have to play. I know that there's a lot of people that go out there and they pay for Tommy's, you know, hole stuff, and it's like, set your ball up here, one blade of grass short of this, and they tell you exactly how to play. But, and I'm sure for some people, if you got the same exact clubs, it probably works. Probably does. Maybe it does. But if you don't have the same clubs, does it work? One of the things I like about Tommy shot a video when the wind ring method first came out. The guy had he showed, you can look it up, and it's an old video that Tommy did about the wind ring method, and there was a young gentleman that was on there, and I swear he had a name, but if you listen to his voice, he sounds like Zachary Jones. And then Zachary Jones started shooting videos about the thing. I swear, I think it's Zachary Jones. But even though the guy's name was like Joshua, or he gave some other name. But Tommy did not like the wind ring method. He didn't use the wind ring method. He did a different method. And what he did was, it was all about position, like where you're, like I've got in this position right here, I'm like half a ring off of this, and I've got this kind of a gap here, and he found a spot and then tried to go to that same spot, and then he kept adjusting his, hold on, let me get this straight, it's 2.12, there's 2.5, I was a little short on that. Oh fuck. Urgh. I gotta practice it again. He was all about, and that was way the fuck off. Way off. And I know I hit it great, but that's way off. I'm gonna try a 0. I know I hit that. I know I hit it great, and that may have been a 2-ring great, but that was way off. Way off. I do kind of a combination between what Tommy did at the beginning, and I think it's one of the reasons that Tommy switched, and like now you're not going to get him off of the wind ring method. And the deal is that he was doing the wind ring method. He just didn't. He was going through and finding the spot and getting the adjustment, and so he was in the perfect spot. And now he knows how much to move the rings for that perfect spot, and so the two together actually make a better adjustment system. How many times can we circle before we don't fall in, before we fall into the gravity well? The only way that it would go around the circle twice, 3 times like that is if it was a reverse funnel. If the hole is actually affected by gravity, once the ball goes around once and gets thrown out, because it's like you're shooting off a satellite out to Mars, then we're going to go to Saturn, and they use Mars as a gravitational so they can slingshot off to pick up some speed to go through it. If they start doing this, what happens is they get caught in Mars' gravitational field, and now there's no pulling out unless they do some power, they add some power to it, which defeats the purpose. So you can slingshot off of something. You know, you can have a body here and you can slingshot off of it. But once you start circling the drain, you're going into the gravity well. The only way that you would pop out of that gravity well is if you had a reverse funnel, which is like those carnival tricks where it's the funnel and your ship pops out. So what we have here is Playdemic messing around with gravity. Nice. Thank you, Playdemic. Thank you. I'm gonna hit this at 0. Let's hit it at 0. Let's hit it at 0. All right, let's just start at 0. The thing about putting that much backspin on there is I'm losing my ball guide when I put that much backspin on there. And I'm not gonna worry about taking the shot right off the bat. I'm surprised they haven't come out with I really am surprised that there's stuff, and the deal is that they could make them consumables or they could make them permanent. But like on your clubs, you can go down and you can buy a set of grips, and the grips give you 0.2 ball guide on any club that you have a grip on, and it's a permanent deal. Like you paid for the grip, and now that club's got point. So that club that you have, you know, like a Guardian, when it gets maxed out, it's only got 3.9 ball guide. If you bought the super duper grips, they give you +2, and now all of a sudden you have a 4.1. And I will tell you, there's a huge ass difference between 4.1 and 3.9. Because when you're doing full backspin, you'll be able to catch the tail if you're over 4, but you won't be able to catch the tail to see what direction you're really floating in when you're at 3.9. What would be really cheesy is if they made them a consumable, and it's like, hey, I bought a grip for this particular hole because I want to use my Guardian, and so you used it, and then they do the thing. I think the grips should be permanent, and what they should do is gloves could be something. Where would I still have to be in order to have a tail where I'm seeing my ball guide come out? I kind of like the max. I'm going to get right up on it. I think I'm too far away. .2. 3.23 rings. Let's see if we can hit this one perfect. Like, how hard can that be? There's 3, 2, 3. Hitting it perfect. That was with 0. That was just a straight up shot. Let's see where we're at. And I needed to pull it just a little bit. That's why when I started the very first time, I did that 10, and it seemed like I still didn't pull it enough with the 10. It's a moving target. Do we have time for one more? We'll do one more at 10. I'm using a shitload of backspin there. I don't think I have. I really, there isn't anything else. There isn't anything else unless you brought out a really big ball and you wanted to use your Guardian, but you're not getting as much ball guide with the Guardian as you are with the Rocket. The Rocket's got 4 something and the Guardian's got 3.9. And that is the option. That's the shot there. We're just gonna have to work it out. What is it? 4.2. If you had like an upper developed Thor's hammer, but even there I'm not getting as much ball guide. I'd have to have a level 7. It might get, I'm not sure if the Thor's hammer gets more ball guide at level 7. It might. I think it does. Maybe. Definitely not enough backspin there. That's it. Those are my 2 options. Those are it. APOC. Not enough backspin. And not enough ball guide, and even there. It's still 3.9. So the Rocket is definitely the Rocket is definitely the choice. If we were gonna do a wood, I mean, Guardian is the way. We don't have any, there isn't anything else that's got anything even close to what the Guardian's got for backspin. Not even close. Now, I suppose if you get a maxed out hammerhead, then you're getting up to the Guardian level, and it does have more ball guide. Not quite as much distance, but it would be a better choice in many cases if you had a maxed out hammerhead. All right, let's try it one more time. One more time, and I'm going to do +10 this time. Times, or divided by, excuse me, or times the wind, divided by 1.3. Let's try it one more time. One more time. And I'm using a katana because it's the 2 side spin. It gives you room. The katana does give you room against the red line if we had a headwind. Hey, let's see if we can get the right deal here. The right one. One more time. One more time. One more time. I'm gonna have to buy something to give me more practice tokens, because I really want to practice the other par 3s as well. The first one, I think I have just going straight at it with the rocket, I think is the way to go. That we can work out. But that middle par 3, that one, there's a bunch of different ways to play it. And I'm not sure. One of the viewers commented that you can do a sand bump, and I'm sure there is a sand bump there, but I'm not a sand bump guy. I have one of my buddies, Kyle Brady and Dunner. They both have no fear of sand bumps at all. But I remember Kyle Brady playing some master stuff, and he was doing the sand bump. Okay, 2.79 rings, 2.8 rings. There's 2. Yeah. Nope. Not against that headwind. I'm gonna have to pull back and do that much backspin. 2 less than max, so that it gives me a little bit more room against the red line. I'll let this time out, so I have plenty of time to do the shot. So on a headwind day, bringing out a 3 power ball, bringing out a Titan, because you're not really using any spin or any side spin. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to a Titan so I can keep my backspin the same, so we can keep all of the shot the same as far as spin. It might be better. No, I'm gonna stick with the Katana. It might be better. Let's see how it rolls out. Let's see how it rolls. Let's see how it rolls. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 less than max. No side spin. 2.9. It's 2.45 rings. Let's get lined up. Hey, get on that line. There's 2, 4, 5. Exactly. Hitting it perfect. And that was definitely not enough of the headwind. Definitely. You got so much backspin on there that with backspin against headwind, it's pushing it up, and each bounce is getting compressed, and that headwind is really killing it. So with a headwind day, maybe using the Katana and not using as much backspin so it's not getting compressed. This hole is going to be, I think this hole is going to be one of those ones that you might hit it several times and then you're not going to get it. It'll change, and it may change every time the wind changes direction, or we have to chase it around. You can see that when Tommy does the golden shot, depending on what angle you're coming at or what wind angle it is, how you're going to have to change the setup on it, or we have to kind of chase it around a little bit depending on the wind. These par 3s in this tournament are tough. How many practice tokens I got? I got one measly practice token. Let's get something going that's got practice tokens on it. I can get one of those. Buy. Select. What do we have in here that we can do for selected? Buy. Already selected. And what do I have for, what is it? It's hole number 5. Sniper. Was I in Sniper? Let's go check out hole number 5. Let's go check it out. Let's check this hole out. Let's see what all of our options are. We have a ton of options here, and that's the thing about these practice tokens is you're really practicing. And most people in this game do not practice. They see you practicing and then they just want to play it out like it's a regular game instead of like, I have learned a lot of stuff by watching my opponents. Especially when you're practicing, because they may be taking a shot that you're not taking. One of the holes in this tournament right here, I said when I was doing the walkthrough, I'll never hit it to the left. You always want to go to this little island. And then I watched my opponent do it and went, wow, that's actually pretty good. And my spot sucked. Okay, I've been hitting it from over here, and I really like the rough bump better than hitting it off of the rough bump, but there's a rough bump that you can do right here. And you can see the tail looks like it's just leading down towards the cup. But it just doesn't seem like it wants to go. Like maybe in that area right there, because it's going down that hill towards the cup. What kind of spin do I have on that? 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 back, 1.5 right. I'd really rather be right there. And that spin might actually still work in that spot. But I like being kind of more in the center of that than that other one. And where am I at in my club? There's Max. 1.5, 1.5. We'll get a better read with the sniper. It's got a little better ball guide. It seems like you should be doing, like there should be a plus here, but I'm not so sure that when I play from the Pro Tees, I play from over here and just try and bring it down, and that kind of everything funnels down towards the cup. And it's a pretty safe area to go to, especially with the big winds. When you're playing here, if you've got a headwind or any winds that are on this side, it's not too bad, but everything else you got to pull over the sand and it blows. But that area over on the side doing that rough bump, you usually can work the wind out without involving the sand. Not every time, but... And I'm not hitting off that island. And that's the reason. You can get all kinds of weird-ass bumps or bounces off of that island. I'm going to hit it straight up. No extra. Okay, there's min. There's max. There's mid. So mid club. And I had 1.5. 1.5. Find that sweet spot. That ball guide's definitely leading away from it. That looks a little better. That's 3 and a titch. 2.9. I'm at mid club, so 2.9 divided by 1.1. It's 2.63 rings. Man, it feels like it's downhill. There's 263. Hitting it perfect. Ooh, definitely did not pull it enough. You can see how close I hit the rough right there, but man, that was close to not. And I don't know that there's enough. If I would have hit where I wanted to hit, I would have been farther forward. I've been higher up on the hill, and it would have had more speed rolling back down towards the cup. And the cup is in a bowl right here, so if you can get enough speed to get down to the bowl, you could make it to the cup. But I would definitely have to do at least a plus 10 there. At least. Because that was at least a ring and a half. That's like that's like a mile an hour with a 2 mile an hour wind. That's like a 30%. So we'll go look at the picture here. We'll go look at the image. Do you not get practice tokens if you're in practice? I guess I did. I did get one. Let's go look at the image of that. Let's go look at the image. That's hole number 5. Hole number 5. So where I was at down in this area, I was at least, I think I was like 2 rings away from like trying to kind of get centered up in that little area. And I barely missed the sand. So that was at least a whole ring, if not a ring and a half to 2 rings, that little teeny 2.9 wind pushed me back. So like 10% would only be 0.3, which would be a third of a ring, and it pushed me at least a ring. So I mean, are we at like 30%? I feel like I need to do a plus 20. Let's start at plus 20, and then we'll see if that's too much or too little, or if that puts me in the deal. Because that, doing it at 0 was way too close. We'll practice it one more time. One more time. And that was 3 right-hand side spin and a sliver of backspin. There's a lot of different ways that you can go onto this green, but with this pin placement is pretty freaking tough. Pretty tough, but bouncing off of that mound like my opponent did on the last shot, that is not the way to go. And yes, I'm not saying that you can't hit off of that and then end up making it, but what I'm saying is that try and repeat that. That spot is tough, and if you don't hit perfect every single time and you hit great to the left or the right, you are in big ass trouble. Now, why in the? All right, you're gonna eyeball it and practice. I'm just blown away. Like, what are you gonna learn here? Okay, I can make it over there with a white ball. Okay, I made it over there with a white ball. That's good. That's all I needed to know. Okay, 3.2. And I like this wind because it's still giving us that headwind effect. That's about half a backspin. Okay, I am almost 2 rings off of that, so 3.45 rings. So I'm saying it really pushed me back last time. There's 3.49. Hitting it perfect. Let's see where it hits. Man, it's all like, it almost didn't, I did a 20% versus a 0, and it did hit further in front of the sand, but it was still, you know, that here's that rough area, and I was lined up here. The last time I hit just like 1 blade of grass away. This time I was right there, so it still did push me back. Because if I hit here, I'm going to get higher up on that hill, and I'm going to get more roll down towards the cup, and so hitting back here, it's going to kill that forward momentum. The deal there is I'm hitting against a headwind, so like what I need to do against a headwind may not be the same thing as I do against a tailwind. Like if I, let's say I did a 40 and I go, wow, that's really good. That's really good with a headwind. That might not be really good with a tailwind. If you're practicing like this and you're trying to figure it out and you're doing an adjustment, you're like, wow, that's not working, make a big jump. Try and jump to the other side so that we're playing the clock game. A 20% there was better, but it still wasn't good. So like instead of going to a 30 and just doing incremental stuff up, we'll do the clock game like we're on Price is Right and do a 50 and see if that over pulls it. So now you know that it's somewhere between 20 and 50. So, you know, you can split the difference and do a 35 and then you can split the difference and you can keep trying to dial it in. Sometimes it doesn't work for me if I'm trying to just incrementally, because you keep chasing it, and 50 is the real number. Because it still pushed me off. Shit, that was 2 rings, and I had like maybe a half a ring. I am going to do a big jump. I'm going to do 50. Why not? Why not? I'm doing it for you. We'll do a 50 and we'll see where it's at, and then I'll let you take it from there, and then you can figure it out. But I really think that that's probably only going to work on a headwind day. It might not work on a tailwind day. So if we get a tailwind right here, we're going to find out. We're going to find out the hard way. Tailwinds are difficult here because you got that area, you got sand and you got sand, and so we're trying to get into this little gap right here so that we have, if the wind's blowing from any of these angles, you're good to go. So we're maximizing our opportunity to not have to pull over the sand. But if the wind's blowing where we're having to do over the sand, it's going to be a tailwind day, and we'll have to over pull it over the sand, which is not good, which is never good, which is never. And we're going to find out. No, this wind's going to work for us. Okay, 3.5. You want to be centered up, dead center. Almost 2 rings off. My ball guide's going down towards it. 2.2, 3 rings. Dead on, 3 rings. Hitting it perfect. Now let's see where I hit. That's the most important part right here. Now that was good. That was right where I was aiming. Now see, I'm going up higher up the hill, so it's going to have more speed. Does it get enough to get down to the bowl? No. No. But where I landed was the most important thing there. We can change our spin to try and get to, there's so much movement down there that it will be hard to get our spin. We'll have to come and play it one more time. All right, we'll play it one more time. But I'm going to use the 50% for the wind, because that landed right dead center, right where I was aiming. I think every single person, I mean, that is like turning around and doing the piñata with a dart and throwing it over your head and wherever the dart lands. Hitting off of that mound is just a losing proposition. Just a losing proposition. I was seeing if I could hit it off. I got somebody one day and we were both trying to hit the ball off the, we were on a green where we couldn't get our ball to get off of the green. And it was back in the day when you could get, I think now the lowest that you can get is like double bogey or bogey. But we both finished the hole. I think we finished the hole. He was pissed off at me because I finally stopped it. Like it was like minus 27. So we ended up, and I was just practicing that day, but there was no, I could play, it was kind of cool because I could play the rest of the round and didn't have to worry about accidentally qualifying, because I started off at minus 27. Or I was 27 over, plus 27. I was trying to hit it off the green because I wanted to hit back to the spot where I was at. I wanted to get off the green and then hit back to the spot where I was at so I could try the second shot again. But I couldn't get off the green, and my opponent was like, they started doing it, and neither one of us could get off the green because the green was bowled and we couldn't get enough speed to get off the green. Damn it. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm not sure that that's the right spot, but I want to, we'll try it one more time. And I'm going to take my time this time because I'll have to change my spin and see if I can find a spin that works. Maybe a 5 side spin ball. I doubt it. I doubt it. That spot right there is the spot to hit if you're in the normal, rookie tournament and that's in the normal pin placement. That spot right there is a great spot to go for hole-in-one. But this pin placement is a little bit tougher. All right. Let's get on our spot. I was almost 2 rings off in every area there off the sand. Now let's look at what we got for spins to try and get us to the cup. What does that look like? That's 4 backspin. That might work. That might just work. 3.4. What do I have for spin there? I've got 3, almost 4 backspin, 3 side spin. 3 side spin and a sliver less than 4 backspin. A 4 side spin ball might be good. I'm trying to figure out how to do these with mortal balls, just balls that we can buy in the store and not some special ball. I'm not sure what my opponent's doing, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that because that gives me one more opportunity. Let me bring out a bigger side spin ball here. Let's look for side spin and see if we've got a 2 power ball. And let's do power second. No side spin. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Let's try a 5 side spin ball and see. Now I'm at max. But let's see what difference a 5 side spin ball makes. I'm not sure that's gonna be any better. Not sure that will be any better than just using a katana and doing the 3 and almost 4. All right. Now, I'm not saying that I'm disappointed that I got to do that because my opponent took that shot, but why did they come out here and practice? Okay, so 3 side spin, almost 4 back spin. I was kind of centered up. Let's see what I got for spin here. All right, 3.9, 3.9, 5.31 rings. Okay, there's 5. 3.1. 3.1. Hitting it perfect. Oh man, that was way up in the front. Almost overpulled that one. Yeah, this hole sucks. It's still not enough to get me down there. So I mean, that spot is a dangerous spot to hit in with the wind adjustment, and depending on which way the wind's blowing, you could have a difficult deal, but we're just not going to be able to get up there. All right. I will continue. I'm going to play this hole different. I've got my odd account and my 77 account in the tournament, and I'm using my odd account as a practice account. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this hole 2 different ways. I'm going to play it one way with my odd account. And I think with my odd account, what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to work this spot right here. This spot right here sucks too, because this hill, so it's like this, and you're coming in at it, and then it's rolling, it's rolling down like this, and you're coming in at it's almost like hitting off of this, where if you're off just a little teeny bit, it's going to roll. The direction that it rolls off is going to be totally different than what the ball guy was telling you. You have to hit it just right, make a perfect adjustment, and have exactly the right speed for it to roll off the front and come down close. I did hit this rough bump where I hit the flagpole, and I couldn't get my ball guide any shorter because of, if I tried to put on more backspin, it wiggled the ball guide all over the place, and I couldn't get it to that was just the shot I had to take, and I hit the flagpole and bounced off. But it is possible over here, but there is so much movement over here that this shot sucks. And I think because the normal pin placement is right here, and I think if you're hitting from over here trying to get to that spot, it's not a bad deal from over here. It's not a bad deal from here trying to get to that spot. But this particular spot, being in a bowl with a big ass hump over here, and how it's going to be difficult. Maybe the sand bump is the thing. I'm sure you can do a little bit of a rough bump off of this little G string, which I am not going to do. You will definitely want to know what your wind adjustment is if you're doing that. And I'm not a big fan of sand bumps. And part of the deal there is that I've been in the sand in the real world, and you do not want to be in the sand. I just do not like sand bumps. There's nothing wrong with them. If you're comfortable with them, you should do it. But I'm not really comfortable with it. That makes my package crawl up in me. So I mean, I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm gonna work on this shot right here. I think with both accounts. I tried doing it from out here because you can kind of get the same flow. So I tried doing the same exact shot from here, but you were carrying way too much speed, because here you lost a lot of speed when you hit, and then it rolled out. And you were rolling through all kinds of stuff to get over to the cup, but it did roll out. Whereas here, it took a bounce. And then once it took that bounce, if it engaged this hill at the wrong angle, then it could go off in weird directions. And so I kind of like the rough bump a little bit better. And here you're only having to worry about wind in this quadrant. So this 90-degree quadrant right here, where you might have to pull so much that you involve the sand. I was quite a ways away from the sand. I wasn't right up against it. But I'm gonna work this spot, I think. Not that I think I have a chance of making it in any shape or form. I think there's gonna be a lot of people that fail on this hole though. And so I don't want to be one of those, but I do want to try and give myself at least a look at it. I tried doing a backspin where I just came out here and dunked it and tried to backspin it up. But the way where this is at with my Guardian, even using my Guardian and bringing out a big enough ball so that I could get up here and do the backspin with 100% backspin, I still took the risk of bouncing into the sand. Like the ball guide wasn't sucked around. It was, this hole sucks. I'm going to sum it up in one word: sucks. All right, there you have it. Some practice on hole 8 and hole 5. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that helped everybody, or at least, you know, gave you some ideas, and you can go out there and practice it. And if you come up with something better, leave me a comment. Thanks for watching.